Hey everyone, Frost here. I wanted to make a short video to answer a question I get asked by most everyone I talk to about Star Citizen who's not yet a backer. Should I get into Star Citizen now? So in today's episode, I'll be discussing some of the considerations you should weigh before making that decision. Let's get started. Where is Star Citizen in its development cycle? So Star Citizen is currently in its alpha phase of development, alpha 3.0.1 to be precise. At the end of this month, March 2018, we can expect the release of Alpha 3.1. Since the release of 3.0, CIG has transitioned Star Citizen from a content-driven update schedule to a quarterly update schedule. So besides 3.1, we can look forward to 3.2 at the end of June, 3.3 at the end of September, and 3.4 at the end of this year. With each patch, CIG is aiming to include some new network technology which will make Star Citizen perform better. What's wrong with Star Citizen's performance? Star Citizen is a vast, open universe game that features the ability for players to get in their spaceship, take off, fly out of a planet's orbit, and travel across systems and eventually between systems, all without any load screens. Because there are no load screens, everything in the game has to be loaded and tracked by each client currently logged into the game. In 3.0, the entire playable game space is just the area around a single planet and its 4 moons. And already the volume of things that must be loaded overwhelms most average computers. By launch, Star Citizen is projected to feature 100 fully fleshed out star systems, all with unique planetary bodies, points of interest, and things to do. Now obviously, without some change in how loading happens, even top-end systems would be completely crushed by the demand placed on them by this game. So what's being done about this problem? There are a few upcoming additions to Star Citizen that are aimed at addressing this problem. Firstly, patch 3.2 will feature a technology called network bind culling. Essentially, this technology will eliminate objects too distant from players from their client, reducing CPU load. This should go a long way toward improving client performance. This change will be well timed because in 3.3 the overall gameplay area will be growing with the addition of the planet Hurston and its 4 moons. 3.3 will also feature 2 new technologies which will further improve performance: network entity streaming and object container streaming. Network entity streaming will change how the network handles entity spawning and binding. A network bind roughly is what allows resources to be sent or received over the network. This will have the effect of allowing asynchronous streaming, which will keep clients from being overwhelmed by the server when streaming in assets. Object container streaming is the most important of all these technologies. It will organize all entities into virtual containers, which in turn will be held within larger containers. This will segregate all entities into localized areas of the game universe and effectively make Star Citizen no longer be restrained by client-side physical memory. An example of how the absence of this currently affects gameplay is that right now in Star Citizen, if you load up a Drake Caterpillar full of cargo and fly around the verse, everyone else on your server will not only have to query the server for your ship, but also each individual piece of cargo you're carrying, and a Caterpillar can carry quite a lot of cargo. It bogs everything way down. With object container streaming, your cargo is held within a container, your ship. And for the purposes of anyone who happens to go flying by, it's enough for their client to know that your ship is there without having to know the contents of that ship. Multiply that phenomenon times every ship in the verse, and it's easy to see how this will greatly improve network performance. Based on what CIG has said about these technologies and the impact they will have on Star Citizen, it is my belief that once they are implemented, Star Citizen will be ready to transition into beta, as the core technology needed to make the game stable will be in place, and all that will remain is to develop content and polish. When will Star Citizen come out? Well, if I'm right about beta coming shortly after the inclusion of those network technologies, then I estimate that it will run through all of 2019 and some part of 2020. Now this is not confirmed and is purely speculation on my part, but based on CIG hitting their targeted patch dates, I feel comfortable in predicting a live release sometime in 2020. So if it's unplayable, why would I even think about getting into Star Citizen now? Here's the thing. Star Citizen runs pretty well if, and it's a big if, you have a sufficiently high-end system to absorb the networking issues I've described in this video. If you don't, then you'll only be frustrated by low frame rates and eventual client crashes. Without the inclusion of these technologies, I would expect that performance issues will become even more difficult to handle for increasingly high-end machines until it is completely unplayable by anyone. That said, I am optimistic that CIG will hit their target dates and things will continue to improve. As of patch 3.0, CIG recommends the following minimum system specs to play Star Citizen: Windows 7 with Service Pack 1, Windows 8, or Windows 10 Anniversary Update, all of those the 64-bit, a DirectX 11 graphics card with 2 GB of RAM, although 4 GB or more is strongly recommended, a quad-core CPU, 16 plus gigabytes of RAM, and Star Citizen installed on an SSD as opposed to a hard drive is strongly recommended. Through testing various system builds, the community has ascertained that actually the RAM requirement and having Star Citizen installed on an SSD are more important for improving performance than having a high-end GPU. Now personally, I've noticed a huge performance improvement when switching from the hard drive I had been using to an SSD. My system meets or exceeds all of those system requirements, but I definitely don't have what you'd consider an elite gaming PC. And yet, I have no complaints about Star Citizen's performance on my machine. Currently, there are no confirmed system requirements for launch, and I'm not going to recommend that you upgrade your system just to play the alpha. If you think your computer can play Star Citizen based on this information, great. If not, I'd hold off for now, and strategically upgrade your system as necessary when components are on sale. You have plenty of time before launch. So what can I do while I'm waiting to play? Get into the community. Do research about what playstyles interest you. Find a home in the verse. There are a lot of organizations that are actively recruiting, and it's never too early to make some friends in the community. They can answer questions and help get you into the swing of things once you finally do start playing. You should also use this time to do research about how you want to play Star Citizen. Decide which, if any, ships you're interested in picking up. Then bide your time until the anniversary sale this fall, when all announced ships will be available for purchase with improved insurance packages. I'm ready to get involved. How's the FPS combat? So, as I hope I've made clear by now, this game is still in alpha. There are a lot of things to do in this game already, but those things have all received unequal amounts of polish. Presently, FPS is one of those systems that needs the most work. Also, while ship combat is further along, many in the community, myself included, are pushing for some substantial changes to the flight model. I would characterize the existing flight model as less of a sim and more of an arcade game. That said, it can be fun, but in my opinion, it doesn't yet live up to Star Citizen's billing as the best damn space sim ever. However, there are things that are totally worth it right now in-game. If you want to fly around and explore space, enjoying the ambiance and artwork of this game, it's already stunningly beautiful. You can have hours of fun just doing cargo runs back and forth across the Stanton system, and stop for a few minutes to take in the sunrise on Yela, or find a wrecked javelin on Daymar. Star Citizen is truly a gorgeous game to behold, and if your machine can handle it and you're ready to pledge, you too can come see what all the fuss is about. Well, that's all for today's show. Thanks for watching. If you're new to Star Citizen, or you know someone who's thinking of playing, you or they can earn 5,000 UEC on your account by registering with my referral code, which you can find in the show notes down below. If you have any questions, feedback, or episode suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And if you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.